Welcome back again. Well, you can see in front of me is a 1983 Ford EXP brochure. Nothing too crazy, but it's pretty cool. Um, you can see that it's made in August of 82. So it's definitely what I'd call the 83 manual. This is the front cover and back cover. When you fold them out, you get this really cool looking portrait. I wish for the front they would have had the car favoring this side, so when you look at the front, you have more of the car exposed, like what's on the rear cover here. And then put this little border banner thing over on the back cover so you see less of it. But anywho, so 1983, the EXP is in its second year, and at the date of this publishing, August of 82, that's when we start seeing what we call the late 82 models, or the actual 83 models. It would be things like the high output engine. And then shortly after that, that's when the 83 model is in full swing. Those 5-speed transmissions and a few other things like the colored interiors, etc. So yes, the catalog is like as follows, and you're actually able to view all of this through Ford's Heritage website. You just go there, type up Ford EXP or Ford Escorts, and you'll find whichever ones you're looking for, and it's more than catalogs. You'll see advertisements and a few other things like that, but it was the first year for 5-speed EXPs, and you'll see that it's standard. So all the EXPs have 5 speeds, or you could opt for the 4-speed manual or the 3-speed automatic. You can barely see on the fender here. What that is a EFI 5-speed badge, just because my camera is not focusing on it very well. There, EFI above, the 5-speed below. So it's the first year of the EFI option 2. And what I have yet to see anywhere is the 4-way driver's seat. I believe it's one where you can like ratchet this lever, you can ratchet it forward and backward, left to right, something like that. And that actually raises or lowers either the whole seat or the front of the seat. Again, I don't know, because I've never ever seen one of these, even in Escorts. I can't find them. I know they exist because people said that they've had them. But out of my 15 freaking cars, not a one. Even out of the other 6 EXPs I've seen in person, and the other, 13, 19, 23 Escorts I've seen in person, not a one's had that either. Next page over, it goes into the interior and it talks about some of the new options, which are the color match dashboard that started in 83 for EXPs. Even though Escorts had those, all the 82 EXPs, they were very tuxedo, where the entire dashboard was black. You'd have a black hockey stripe on this door card, and then the entire rest of the interior would be whatever color it was. Oh, I'm sorry, and black center console. 83 was also the first year for armrests, and first year for cloth door skins. In 82, they were all padded vinyl. Even though it says padded vinyl here, that's what it's optioned out with. You could have these in cloth for 83, but that was more common in 84 on up. 83 gauge has changed a little bit. They went from the white, yellow, and red to the orange and red, which is very sleek. That's very Atari 2600. Keep moving along here. It talks about very briefly is some of the exterior features. So now we're looking at just a normal 5-speed car. Talks about the cargo capacity at 29.8 cubic feet. I got to double check on that. I believe that's incorrect, because whatever the EXP is, the LN7 is supposed to be slightly more, and I swear the LN7 was the one that was 29.7 or something like that. It had 2 or 3 extra cubic feet. Alright, so now we start talking about some of the engineering and technological feats that these cars have, which isn't much. It's just trying to share the the pros of front-wheel drive, and that's fine. you know, that anyone who's familiar with cars in general knows that front wheel drive, maybe it's not the most fun thing to drive around with, but it's very practical, extremely cheap to produce, and very easy and affordable to maintain. Now we actually start diving into more options. Before was kind of standard features, now we have actual options. And it shows some awesome things like the cutaway of a 1.6 EFI engine. So that is the actual EFI engine with intake system and the headers, whole 9 yards. The only funny thing is this valve cover. We've never seen that valve cover on any other actual engines. Talks about the cruise control a little bit, the new line of TR wheels that came out. So now you have 3 options of TR wheels. Shows the new 1.6 high output. The HO, they're special because they even have a decal on the air cleaner that represents that. Not shown is the second intake snorkel coming out of here. Power wise, these two were the same. We're talking 70 horsepower with the base 1.6, 80 horsepower, 80 horsepower. 5-speed transmission, that was a big deal. Rear window defroster, that's standard on all the EXPs. And then here, yep, like I said, we're up to 3 TR type wheels combos now. We have these 2 aluminum ones and then the 1 steely. Sadly today they're all just paperweights because you can't get tires for them, and most of them aren't. There's not enough material to mill them down to the next size down, which it would be 14. They're technically 14 and a half. Here we go through the long list of optionals and some features. Talks about a little bit of the service, so you know that you're not getting a nickel and dimer. By 83, the 13-gallon tank became standard. 82, they were only 11. Something interesting. Here's where they finally actually start saying which colors you can get these things in. So the 83 color list is different than 82, and 83 is different than 84. All in all, the 83 EXP as a whole was as far as options go, it was the best EXP that you could have. Same with the LN7. You could get this car with a million options, and you can have them in pretty much any combination you wanted. That made them special, but they also had the most amount of exterior colors. They had the most interior colors. They had the most engine options. 3. That's a bunch. And then they still had the 5-speed to choose from, the automatic, a 4-speed, and then I think 2 different gear ratios for the 4 and 5. Plus, you could still get 2-tone on the outside. Here's where we get to the more mechanical and creature comfort features. There's a lot to choose from. And this is right before we start getting into the sport coupe and luxury stuff of the 84 on up. Here there's still just group numbers. So group 300B, that's the base model car. And the 302, that's where you get into the kind of sport style one. And then 303 and 304, those are the sport and luxury ones. You can see a little bit better when we come over here. We start looking at some of the engine and transmission combinations. So, oh hey, look at that. 4-speed manual transmission was standard on the basis model of base models. A car that had almost 0 options. You only had the 4-speed. Now, if you have any of the other higher up ones, so if you had a base model that actually had a decent option like a passenger door mirror, you suddenly become into this category where you have the 5-speed tranny as standard. And you'll see that the base model engine, look at that, was only on the base model car. On all these 83 EXPs, most of them have the high output, the 1.6 HO. You see it's optional for the base model, but it's standard on everything else. Except for the most premier one, where the EFI was standard, and that's the only time it's optional. So the only way you could get that is if you had the top of the line EXP or LN7. That is very rare. The 1.6 CFI, it was only available for 83 to 85, and even amongst escorts, extremely rare. And it talks about more stuff. Here, here's the tires that we were talking about. Bingo. That's the diameter right there. The 365 Michelin TRXs. Those are those fancy wheels that you can only get on the TR wheels. Freaking paperweights. And though it doesn't talk about it, you could get things like this hockey stripe. Some of you may have actually seen my silver 83 that has this exact hockey stripe combo, and even my new old stock hockey stripe for that color. And there's plenty of other things like that seat that says D next to it. That's a pretty rare seat for 83. Very common in Lynx RX-7s and the Escort GTs, but finding those in the EXPs are pretty rare. But the sheepskin seats, those are pretty common in 82 and 83. We just don't see that in the 82 brochures, but they were out there, that's for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the 83 EXP book. It's nothing too crazy, but as far as a catalog goes, it steps ahead of the 82 stuff, being it actually shows tables where you can find the option you're looking for and go across and see which of the car tiers or levels you can get each of those options in. Very handy. It also shows all the colors that you can get this in, which is something that 82s did not. A big upgrade there. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to show you guys as far as this one goes. So we'll move on to the next one. Thanks.